Brian O'Connor is introduced as an LAPD officer working undercover to infiltrate the underground world of street racing. His mission is to expose a group of hijackers using high-performance cars to rob trucks of expensive electronics. Infiltration into Dom's crew. Brian enters a local street race, where he tries to gain the respect of Dominic Toretto, the leader of the racing crew. Despite losing the race and wrecking his car, Brian earns Dom's trust by helping him escape the police when the race is busted. This moment marks the beginning of their bond. Conflict of duty and loyalty. Brian's loyalty is tested when he starts to form a genuine friendship with Dom and falls in love with Dom's sister, Mia. As his investigation leads him closer to the truth about Dom's involvement in the hijackings, Brian is torn between his duty as a cop and his personal feelings for Dom and Mia. Brian's betrayal of the police. In the climactic sequence, Dom and his crew execute one final heist. When things go wrong, Brian reveals his true identity as a cop to Mia to save her and the others. In the end, Brian lets Dom escape, choosing his loyalty to his new family over his duty as a cop. This decision marks Brian's shift from law enforcement to outlaw. After letting Dom escape, Brian becomes a fugitive and flees to Miami, where he survives by street racing. The FBI catches up with him and offers him a deal. Help take down a drug lord in exchange for a clean slate. Partnership with Roman Pierce. Brian recruits his childhood friend Roman Pierce, who has a grudge against him for a previous arrest. Despite the tension, they rekindle their friendship and form a strong partnership. Their banter and camaraderie become a hallmark of the franchise. Undercover operation. Brian works with U.S. Customs agent Monica Fuentes, Eva Mendez, to expose the drug lord, Carter Verone. The action-packed sequences, such as their races to deliver dirty money and the final boat chase, highlight Brian's skills as both a racer and an undercover agent. Clearing his name. By the end of the film, Brian not only clears his name but also starts to understand that his life as a street racer and outlaw suits him better than his former role in law enforcement. Brian returns as an FBI agent but is quickly drawn back into the world of street racing when Letty, Dom's girlfriend, is murdered while working undercover. Brian teams up with Dom to take down a drug cartel led by Arturo Braga. Reunion with Dom and Mia. Brian's return to Mia and Dom's lives reopens old wounds, but it also strengthens their bond. Brian's relationship with Mia deepens, and the two rekindle their romance. Revenge for Letty. Brian and Dom's mission to avenge Letty leads them into a series of high-stakes races and infiltration of Braga's cartel. Brian uses his FBI skills to track down Braga, but his loyalty to Dom increasingly complicates his role as a federal agent. Breaking away from the law. In the finale, after Dom is sentenced to prison for his past crimes, Brian decides to abandon his role in law enforcement entirely. He joins Mia and the rest of Dom's crew in a daring jailbreak, cementing his place as part of Dom's family and leaving behind the world of law for good. In Fast 5, Brian is now fully entrenched in Dom's world. He and Mia are on the run after breaking Dom out of custody. They head to Rio de Janeiro, where they reunite with the crew to plan a massive heist to steal $100 million from a corrupt businessman named Hernan Reyes. New family life. Brian learns that Mia is pregnant, which changes his outlook on life. He wants to provide for his family, but his loyalty to Dom and his criminal lifestyle keep pulling him back into dangerous situations. The heist in Rio. The crew's heist involves multiple daring stunts, including stealing a vault by dragging it through the streets of Rio. Brian plays a crucial role in the planning and execution of the job, showcasing his tactical and driving skills. Final freedom. By the end of the film, the crew successfully pulls off the heist, securing enough money to retire. Brian and Mia settle down, preparing for the birth of their child, while Brian and Dom cement their brotherhood. This film marks a significant shift for Brian, as he begins to focus on his role as a family man. Brian, Mia, and their son Jack are living peacefully in the Canary Islands, but their quiet life is interrupted when Dom is called back to action by federal agent Luke Hobbs, Dwayne Johnson. to stop a dangerous mercenary, Owen Shaw. Brian joins the crew once again. Struggles of fatherhood. Brian grapples with the conflict between his dangerous lifestyle and his responsibilities as a father. He fears that his past actions could put his family at risk, especially after learning that Letty is alive and working for Shaw. Return to the action. Brian goes undercover in a prison to learn more about Shaw's operations. This mission highlights his undercover skills from his days as a cop. He reunites with the crew for high-octane action scenes, including a chase involving a tank and a showdown on a massive cargo plane. Revenge for Letty's death. Brian feels guilty for Letty's supposed death in the fourth film, believing his actions led her to take the job that got her killed. His sense of responsibility drives him to help Dom bring her back from Shaw's grip. This film is Brian's final appearance due to Paul Walker's tragic death during production. The story focuses on Deckard Shaw's, Jason Statham, vendetta against Dom's crew. Brian is pulled back into the action, but his primary concern is balancing his new life as a father with the risks of his past. Facing the end of the road. Throughout the film, Brian struggles with the idea that he might not return home to his family. He knows he needs to leave the dangerous life behind for the sake of Mia and their children. This inner conflict is evident in scenes where he contemplates whether his love for action is worth the risk. Final mission. The crew faces Deckard Shaw and a high-tech terrorist group. In one of the film's most memorable sequences, Brian takes part in a breathtaking scene where the crew drops cars from a cargo plane to attack a convoy on a mountain road. His ability to think on his feet and use his driving skills remains a core part of his character. Emotional farewell. After defeating Shaw and the terrorist group, Brian retires from the crew to focus on his family. The film ends with a heartwarming tribute, with Dom and Brian sharing one last drive together. Dom reflects on their bond, and they part ways in a poignant, emotional scene. Brian drives off into the sunset, symbolizing his peaceful retirement. Though Brian is no longer physically part of the franchise after Furious 7, his presence is felt in later films. His character is referenced as being alive, living a quiet life with Mia and their children. Mia returns in F9, 2021, to help the crew, and it is mentioned that Brian is staying home to take care of their kids. This keeps his character's legacy alive while honoring Paul Walker's memory.